We have with us today Mr. Palla Banerjee, Managing Director of Pearl Global. So thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us. To start with, I want to know your thoughts on Bharat Tex because it's such a scale. I think this is the first time the event is happening in India. Can you share your thoughts, please?
Yeah, I think Bharat Tex is a great initiative, and I think it's the right timing that has happened in India to do this such a event. Of course, if it happens more regularly, then the participation will continue to increase. But I think for the first time, we have seen a huge success at this point of time with so much of participation that has happened, both from India as well as from our foreign buyers and other countries who have participated in this.
So, talking about Pearl Global, what are the different kind of solutions, sourcing solutions that you give? I would rather say the USP, so as to say.
So Pearl Global has got the vision and mission, or the goal objective of Pearl is to supply to all the global brands across all the part of the globe, and we want to be just not a pure contract manufacturer, but bring to the customers a complete supply chain solutions. So that means what is the product that they need, what is the market, doing that kind of research, getting that, developing that particular product for them, and then supply that product in terms of sourcing of raw materials, manufacturing the goods in-house in our factories, and then in some cases delivering it to the customer where they need it. So that's what I could call it as a total supply chain. And this part we do across the globe. We are not a manufacturer limited to only one country. Although we are an Indian company, but our manufacturing exits from Indonesia, Vietnam, Bangladesh, India, and Guatemala. So all these locations we do manufacture. That means if you talk of the global supply chain today, out of the four big supply chains that is there is your Southeast Asia, South Asia, Mediterranean region, and Central America region. All global is already available in three of these four regions. And any big retailers would always spread their business amongst all these supply chain solutions or the regions of the globe. So we are present out of these three regions from where we do supply to these customers. And some customers we are doing complete end-to-end solutions. That means we identify the product, we identify the price point at which they would be selling at, and then developing that product, delivering that product to them after manufacturing it, and then following it up what kind of sales that is happening on that, so that we can do the next collection as per that. So that's I would call it as an end-to-end supply chain solution. Then there are other models in which we do co-create the product along with our customers, and of course there is a simple transaction of getting an order and manufacturing and shipping. So all the three tiers that we do with our customers.
With such vast operations across the globe, when sustainability is playing a very key role. So, how do you manage to go about the sustainability, various aspects of sustainability, be it environmental, be it social? So, if you can just give a overview.
Yeah. So see, today fashion industry or the garment industry has got a lot of feedback in terms of not being sustainable over the last couple of years. Not couple of, but about 5 to 10 years back, there were big noise about it. The whole concept of fast fashion was looked at very negatively. Since then, all the big retailers have really done well. So they have really changed the way that they're bringing the product and the fashion to the consumer, and doing it very, very ethically as well as very sustainably. Whether it's a European market, American market, or Japanese market, or these big Australian markets, so all these big locations that you look at, any big retailers, they have really invested very, very strongly in the sustainable approach of the business, how they are selling it, and when they procure and when they get the goods manufactured, every component of it is to be sustainable. So whether it's raw material sourcing, from where it is coming from, is it sustainable or not? So that's one aspect of it. Then the whole manufacturing process, both from the workers who are working, their health, safety standards, and what they're getting from the manufacturing companies, and the raw material and the manufacturing process completely is now sustainable. Even to the large manufacturers like Pearl, if you speak to today, a lot of the energy is now renewable energy. We have expanded in our operations in such a manner that the consumption of water, consumption of energy, consumption of other raw material, every aspect we look into so that there is no wastage. In fact, Pearl This year only, we have invested almost $4 to $5 million in our washing plants across the globe, in which our goal is to cut down the water intake by almost 85%, complete zero discharge of any hazardous chemical. So that means what dye stuff is selected when you manufacture the goods. Are those natural dyes, or they are made from the natural minerals or not, or is it another chemical compound which can be resulting into other? So the awareness, the research work that has gone into it, the product that is now developed and coming out in the market is phenomenal compared to what we had 10 years back. So that way, I think this industry has really moved on. And as a company, like if you have to survive in this world, we have to make sure that every component of ours is completely sustainable. So that's something like, companies like Pearl has made a huge stride. Today, we can proudly say that a lot of our energy is from the renewable source, and almost entire water is getting recycled. In terms of the raw material wastage, that also is very, very well controlled. And whatever the pre-consumer waste that comes to us, that is again getting recycled. That means when you make a garment, whatever the wastage of fabrics and trims that is coming up, that's getting recycled to make the new fabric. So this is the kind of loop, all the three angles that you talk about in terms of manufacturing and raw material has been taken care of. On the other hand, if you talk of the people, so yes, when you are supplying to these major brands and the retailers of the globe, it's very important that we maintain the standard of how we are dealing with our people. So I'm sure, I don't go into the detail of that, but that's also very well taken care of. As India progresses, I think this industry will bring in that sustainable approach to the manufacturing part, which will help all.
Right. It was really wonderful talking to you, getting to know your thoughts on these important issues. Lastly, I just want to ask you, Made in India has always been a prime player in terms of sourcing from the global perspective. But somehow of late, India is lagging behind some of its competitors. So how do you think Made in India is going to get a boost from Bharat Tex, so as to say?
Yeah. So you see, if you talk of total textile and garments trade globally, the garment or the apparel part plays a major role. So if you look at any trade that happens between two countries, and if you look at the percentage, almost this textile and garment, that means your yarn, fiber, fabrics, garments, apparels, and then sometimes home goods, like which is your home furnishings and made-ups. If that is 100, then 62 to 65% is, let's say, would be apparel. Definitely, if you look at last 10 years or 15 years of data, the trade that has happened, almost 60% of the value comes from the apparel trade. If you look at India at this point of time, in this whole basket, the apparel portion is coming out to be just below 40. So that's a big gap, if you see, between the global way of doing the trade and how India is doing the trade. India does have the raw material. Every kind of raw material is available, whether it is cotton, whether it's synthetic, or it is other natural fibers. So, those are very much available in India. But if we do a trade on the fiber, on the yarn, or on the fabrics, the value addition that can happen in the apparel is missed out. But yes, we know that as a developing country, we have to promote each component of it. But I think now the time has come, and I think both we see a huge push and the huge positivity from our government side, and I'm sure that will make a big difference in the next couple of years. Other thing is that India has got a great population, one of the largest population of any country that we have in India. So there are a lot of first generation of workforce that is coming into the factories. And today I can positively say that Indian government is so aware, and there is so much of initiative that is going on to engage this kind of workforce into our factories. Yes, the industry had been, or still I would say, greatly limited to the big cities like Bangalore or Tirupur, or let's say Gurgaon, Delhi, Faridabad part. So it has to get into the interiors. That means every state should have. And the kind of initiative that we are seeing and the kind of policy that is coming up, both from the central government and the state government, is going to make a huge impact. So yes, we feel more confident. And other important part is that the whole policies, the textile policies that comes up, whether it is ROCTL policy or the drawback policies or any other incentives policies, has to be from a longer point of duration. So that when a large organization, whether internally in India or somebody from foreign, when they do an investment, they have to see a horizon, a path, for a multiple number of years. So I think that also we are seeing a good positive movement in the government side, and which will definitely help to grow the industry further in India, especially for the apparels.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once
Thank
again
you.
for your time.
Thank you.